Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's story time. I have a banger story for you all. This is going to be kind of towards the end of our Baby Stoner series that we are going to continue on this channel. If you haven't seen the previous videos, there's a playlist with this one's in there. Go check them out. Anyhow, I do appreciate you all coming out today, and today's story is going to be the biggest party foul. That's right. We've all experienced a party foul, right? I mean, you're sitting there, you're like, "Ooh, having a good time." Boom, your elbow knocks over somebody's beer. Oh, now there's multiple different punishments that I've heard about for people party fouling, be it embarrassment things or physical pain. I think the most painful party foul punishment I've heard of is getting hit with a fucking phone book. That sounds crazy. Anyhow, I did not get hit with a phone book in this instance, but it just did break my heart. So it all started around my friend's birthday. She wanted to roll up a monster joint. Now, to do this, we didn't have any big papers like you see Yola rolling with. Those things are phenomenal. But instead, we got what I believe is called the Raw Supernatural cone. I still have the box for it hanging up on my mirror there, just as a memento of this crushing feeling I had. And to always just be careful, you know? That's the main moral. So, I was out of town working for Walmart a couple of towns away from where we lived at the time. And my friend hits me up and she's like, "Yo, when you get back, I believe it was that night we were gonna have a party to celebrate her birthday." And I was like, "Sick, dang, I'm down for it. I'm only up here for a little bit longer and then I'll be heading back." Um, and one second, my cat's being crazy, Mr. Boy. Okay. Anyhow, I'm excited, I'm excited to come home from this work trip, party with the homie, have a good, fantastic time. And then you know what made it even better? The homie said she's gonna roll up the big supernatural. Now, I've only seen these things in YouTube videos. I don't know specifically where, but you just see the big raw cone that people are having to hold with two hands while they smoke and having to hold it up like they're aiming something up in the sky just to get a good drag off of it. I mean, when she told me that, I was ecstatic. I mean, I've never even seen one in the flesh. Now, at this time, luckily, we were getting a lot of good weed. So we had the weed to do it. Started packing it. I started driving on home. Man, I made it over this little mountain that was between the towns there. And I come down. And I walk in the trailer that we lived in at the time to what you can imagine the most beautiful smell, right? I mean, it was dank as hell. There was a tray sitting on the table with a mound of ground up weed on it. My friend's sitting there on the couch, packing this cone. I mean, holy cow, because she'd pack it, get it nice tight, kind of let it settle for a second, maybe like a few minutes, half an hour, whatever, and then that's like she was trying to take her time packing it so it wouldn't um well, I don't want to spoil it, but so it wouldn't do what it's about foreshadowed. Anyhow, it's awesome. It's the night of the party. We have homies over. We're drinking, we're smoking, we're listening to music, we're chatting it up. And then it comes time for the supernatural joint. That is right. Now, I didn't describe the appearance of this thing because I wanted to set the mood, right? There is shining Christmas lights lining the ceiling. I don't know if we still had the cobwebs up at the time, but I think we did. So there's like cobwebs from Halloween, kind of decorating the ceiling there, and we had little plastic spiders. You know, it was a chill vibe. So they bring out this joint. I'm telling you, there's the filter, but then there's the actual fucking part that's packed with weed. It's about the size of my forearm, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try to put a picture of it up on the screen here. But this thing is impressive, right? Everybody at the party is like, what? Oh, so we're all excited. I mean, we have to use a torch to start this thing. So we start it real nice, holding the about 3/4 of the way up towards the top with one hand and holding the filter with the other. And we just start smoking it. And it's pretty nice. It's a little hard to draw because it's really big. But you know, you're getting smoke, so everything's going good. You know, I want to say everybody hit it at least a couple times before tragedy struck, and you know, we're hitting, and it's my turn again. So we've established that the weed, you know, I guess you're supposed to let it cure inside the roll for 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours before you actually smoke it, just so it has time to kind of condense in there, or I don't know the science behind it. Anyhow, we take it out, we're smoking it. It's my turn. I grab it and I lift it up to my lips, up in the air. Same positioning with my hands I was talking about when we were lighting it. And I have it up, pulling in a big old draw, right? It's probably at like a 50-degree angle to my mouth. So nothing crazy. And I'm drawing in, and I'm like, oh shit, it starts to go out a little bit, and I'm like, okay, so I just start stoking it, like a cigar kind of, right? Just blowing out, and just very lightly, try to get it going, and it gets going, and right as it does, about the halfway point down on the supernatural joint, it just separates. The weed inside became two separate things, and the top half separated and blew itself out of the top. And in slow motion, I swear, in slow motion, I see this, I mean, like, hand length worth of weed, probably like palm length worth of weed, just rocket out of the front. And I mean, it just boop, shoots out. You see the fucking cherry flying through the air. Boom. It lands on the floor. Just goes everywhere. Now, we did still have a little bit of this left. There was like probably a middle finger's length left of it. But yeah, everybody at the party just looks down and up at me, and I looked down and somehow rolled my eyes back at myself, and it just stood there in silence for a second. And we, did what any respectable person would do. We saved as much of it off the floor as we could. We finished smoking the little supernatural that we had, and we smoked the rest of that weed that fell on the floor there. Now, I was talking about the punishment for party fouls earlier. Luckily, there was no punishment for this one. But the punishment was the soul-wrenching sight of blowing. Guys, it was at least an ounce. It was at least an ounce that I blew out of that thing. It had to have been. It was soul-crushing. Well, I appreciate you all coming, hanging out through this video today, and this will probably be the final installment in the Baby Stoner series, because around that time is when I was living with my roommates in that trailer is when I really started smoking it up, and that's when I evolved. Well, the next stage of stoner, which I have plenty of fun stoner stories from the next stage of my stoner evolution. So if you all would like to stay in contact with that, hit that subscribe button. And if you like the story, hit like. And I want to know, guys, what's your biggest party foul? I've knocked over bottles, not spilt whole bottles, but I have knocked over bottles, beers. I've dropped grinders, I've dropped bags of weed. There's some party fouls, but that blowing out damn near half that raw supernatural, I think it was probably more, was just heartbreaking. It was awful. So thank you all again for coming by, hanging out, stopping by. Go check me out on Twitch TV, pond_420 for more jam and jams. We will see you all later. Peace.